always, before we get started, if you want to have a block or a pillow or something to put behind your head, or maybe under your hip when we go to on our side or anything like that, just take a moment and go ahead and grab it. I'm gonna, babble on a bit while we wait for people to log on and start watching. Excuse me. As well, if you want anything else close by, a strap for stretching later, anything like that, feel free to go ahead and grab it. Do make sure that you have water. I've got a fairly dry throat today. My allergies are acting up again. So I'll probably be sniffling and scratching my nose throughout the whole class. I apologize ahead of time for this. Please take care if you do have any injuries. Make sure that you do what feels like you're working, but you don't want to have any sharp pains, any really, big discomfort anywhere in the body. So if something doesn't feel right, just, have a rest or take it down a step and do an easier option, okay? Still the same exercise, just an easier option so it works for you. Okay, so I think that we will go ahead and get started. So we're going to start sitting down today, mainly because I'm down here and I don't want to stand back up. So we're going to just sit comfortably. I like to sit cross-legged. This is not comfortable for everyone. So if you do want to sit cross-legged, but the knees are quite high, try sitting on a block or a pillow, and that should give the hips and the knees a little bit of extra room. Otherwise, we can sit in our butterfly position, or with legs out in front, or maybe legs a little bit wider. Yeah, so we can see how we go. Okay, so we're going to sit nice and comfortably. So when we stand up, we always start with our feet because that's what we're standing on. So today we're going to start with our sitting bones. Okay, so we can imagine our sitting bones or our feet. We want to, especially if we're sitting cross-legged position, make sure that these sitting bones are pressed nice and equally into the mat. Okay, so we're not lifting one hip or the other. Usually if we sit cross-legged, it's going to be the top leg hip that tries to lift. So just make sure they're nice and equal pressing into the mat. Okay. As well, think about what the spine is doing. It's really easy to kind of just sit and slouch. We've been sitting at home for quite a few months now, some of us, so we kind of get used to this sort of position. So instead, let's think about the tailbone. We're going to start at our tailbone, and we're going to just stack one vertebra on top of the other, taking a nice big breath in as we do, so that we're breathing all the way up the spine, out through the top of the head. And as we do that, that spine starts to lengthen, and we create some space between the vertebrae. Okay. The shoulders are directly over the hips, so we're not leaning back and we're not leaning forward. We're nice and tall. And just to start with, we're going to breathe into all four corners of that torso. So just take some nice deep breaths in and out. So down into the hips, out into the shoulders, into the back of the body, into the front of the body. Just take some nice deep breaths. It's Monday. We'll get ready for the rest of our week. Just creating some space in the body. And the next time that we breathe out, let's go ahead and switch on those core muscles. So find those muscles between the hip bones. Yep. So make that line from one hip bone to the other. Draw in behind that line. That should also help us sit nice and tall because it's going to lengthen through that lower back. Okay. Then we'll move to the shoulders. So keeping those muscles switched on, let's just move the shoulders to start with. So up and down, or we can do some circles. We can go forwards and backwards, so sort of half circles. We can do some bigger movements if we wish. Just kind of do whatever feels good. Yeah, we're not going to do anything in particular with the shoulders. We can do a few different things if we want to. And then let's breathe in and bring the shoulders up to the ears and roll them back and slide them down. Let the hands rest sort of next to the body or on the knees, wherever is comfortable. Create lots of space between the ears and the shoulders, and we'll look straight ahead. Good. Okay, so we're going to pretend like we are a robot, all right? So we're going to start by being a cactus. So elbows in line with shoulders, fingertips facing up, not allowing the shoulders to do this, okay? We're going to take one arm, doesn't matter, and we're going to turn those fingertips down to the floor, like a little bit of a robot, and then back up to a cactus, okay? Other arm, bring it down, and back up. So we're going to keep going here. And what we want to think about, and I'm just going to get a tiny bit closer, is when we take the arm forward, we're not doing the shoulder, okay? The shoulder stays where it is and it's just the arm. We also don't want to point the fingers back and try to get the arm further back. Just let them keep in line with the wrist, okay? And then back up. And if we can do both of those things, we might want to try to be a full robot or a scarecrow. It looks a bit scarecrowish. And we can be here. Okay, but we're squeezing between the shoulder blades. See, the chest is nice and open, so we're not rounding. And we should feel those shoulders getting nice and toasty. Good. Now the next time that both fingertips are pointing up, we're going to hold it. Okay, well, we're not done yet. Now, keeping those shoulders relaxed, take either one or both arms up. Whee! And down. Good. And lift. Now keep squeezing between the shoulder blades. Shoulders away from those ears. Spine nice and tall. Those shoulders should be feeling nice and toasty right about now. So let's do one more. And then release. Oh, I felt that. Don't know if anyone else felt that. I felt that. All right, shake it out. Okay, let's move down to the spine. We're going to do a little bit of side-to-side movement. So hands are going to come next to the hips, and we're just going to reach up and over. We're going to look to that top arm, press that bottom, that sitting bone, there we go, into the mat. I did just say it earlier, go on. And then we'll come up and we'll switch. So just nice and easy from side to side. What we're aiming to do is get the fingertips as far away from the sitting bone as possible. We can look up to the arm or forward if that's not comfortable. The chest is nice and open. Okay, so no twisting in the spine. We'll get to that in a minute. Good. And we'll make the next one the last one, and we'll come back up nice and tall. As we do this, we're going to stretch those legs out. All right? So, flexing those feet. Engage in these abdominals. Nice and easy. We're going to pull one knee in and press it away. Yeah? If we struggle to sit up tall, what we can do is scoot back against the wall. So we have our tailbone, our shoulders, and our head against the wall. And we keep pressing that back into the wall as we slide. And that will just keep us from rounding or leaning back. It does make it harder, so just keep that in mind. Once we feel the hips start to warm up, we're going to just make it a little bit more fun. So we're going to lift the leg, pull it in, keep it lifted, stretch it away, and release it down. Tons more fun this way. So lift, doesn't need to be a big lift, pull the knee in, stretch the heel. Now get the heel to touch the front of the room and down. Lift and bend. Now, if like mine, when we bring it in, the knee goes a little bit out to the side, just try to turn it back up as much as possible. Mine won't fully point up. We're just going to do one more on each leg. Yeah? And if it's a bit much, just keep the heel down. It's fine. Good. Oh, and shake it out. So the hips should be nice and warm. The shoulders should be nice and warm. So let's come around to hands and knees. So this is where we can put an extra blanket or towel under the knees if we're on a really hard surface. All right, so we're going to continue to warm up through our spine. A little bit of cat and cow. So knees under the hips, so make sure that there's some space between the knees and the feet. Hands can be under the shoulders, or they can be a tiny bit forward of the shoulders. We're going to take a big breath in, lift the tailbone, draw the belly and the ribs down. The heart reaches forward, the shoulders relax, And we're pushing these hands into the mat as we squeeze the elbows together, just looking forward. As we exhale, we're going to tuck the tailbone, we're going to round. Chin to the chest, look between those knees. If we can see our feet, just open those feet a bit wider. And reverse. Good, so nice stretch to the front of the body here, and then a big stretch to the back of the body. The whole time we're pushing into the hands, and if it's a bit much for the wrist, then we'll just come onto our elbows. Okay? If we are on our elbows, it'll be a little bit more in the upper back, but the lower back does still work, so it's absolutely fine if we want to come onto the forearms. Good. And the next time we go into cat, we'll take a big breath in, and we'll take those toes together, knees wide, and we'll just relax it back. Maybe take a little rock from hip to hip here. All right, so we're going to come back to hands and knees to do our rotation. We have done this one in here before. It has been a few weeks, so if you've not done thread the needle, then please feel free to watch the first couple and then join in. I like to turn my fingers slightly in, so kind of like a bulldog, yeah, just because when I bend the elbows, it makes it a little bit nicer than having the fingers forward. Okay, try it both ways and see what works best. Okay, so we're back on hands and knees, pressing into the hands. We're going to lift one arm, doesn't matter which, and we're going to open to the side, but keep both hip bones pointing down. Now from here, the back of the hand comes to the mat, so make sure the arm's not lifted. It's going to slide across the mat, threading the needle and bending the other elbow. We're going to reach, and aim to get the shoulder and the ear down. Whether or not the shoulder and the ear touch the mat doesn't matter. Okay? We're going to breathe in and open back out to the twist we did the first time. So open and press the hand down. Other side. Shoulders away from the ear. We're going to lift. Now keeping the hips over the knees, we're going to thread. Okay? And through. Open back up. Now, if the wrists are really feeling this, and we feel like we just can't continue on hands and knees, come into a child's pose and just thread the needle. Okay? We won't be able to do the first part of the twist really well. We can give it a try, and then just back to child's pose. And that should take the pressure off the wrists. Okay, it's exactly the same movement. We still get the rotation, which is what we want. We can open first of all, or just thread the needle in the child's pose position. Okay, so wherever we are, let's just do one more to each side. If we can't remember which side we started, we'll just do one more right arm and left arm. And then once we've done that last one, we'll take it back into our child's pose. And sitting back, opening those knees to wherever's comfortable, and just relax. If we want to, we can circle the wrist, or maybe sit back, give them a little walk, back of the hands on the floor, just to stretch the wrist the other way. Okay, now, if we are feeling anything in our knees, because we are going back to kneeling, please come around and have a seat. All right, I'll show how to do both, kneeling and sitting. If the knees are feeling okay, we're going to come up to kneeling. All right. If our big toes are still together, just open those feet out. Now, squeeze the booty really hard, and then squeeze it some more. All right. Engage here, arms forward. This helps just with balance. Now, without bending at the hips or the waist, we're going to lean back like a door hinge, and we're going to come forward. All right. So have a little practice. If that doesn't work, we're going to do the same thing with our legs out in front of us, keeping the spine long, so we're not rounding. Long spine, and then back up, okay? So choose the position that works, whether we're sitting or whether we're kneeling, okay? The only difference is if we're kneeling, we're going to feel it in the front of the legs. If we're sitting, we'll feel it a little bit more in the hip flexors, okay? Let's do it. Shoulders down, squeeze, big squeeze, and then squeeze some more. Let's exhale, back we go, and inhale, up we come. Oh, I can feel that in my, right away. Let's go again. Breathe out, and breathe in. If we find that we're breathing in to go back and out to come up, that is absolutely fine, as long as we are not holding the breath. That is the most important part, no holding the breath. Good. I think that the next time we go back, we should hold it and add a twist. Oh, look at that. So much fun. Come back up, and up we come. Let's try the other way. So back we go. Open the other arm, reach for the wall behind or reach for the corner and come back up. Oh, now let's put it together. As we go back, we're going to open that arm towards the back corner of the mat and back up we go. And open that arm and back up. This is why we warmed up our legs earlier. And back and up and back. I think that's quite enough, yeah? If anyone wants to do some more, feel free. The rest of us are just going to come back into a child's pose and relax. Oh, good. Take some nice deep breaths there. And I'm just going to check and make sure everyone's okay. Yeah, hi Dion, hi Pam. Good, so everyone's okay. No one sent me any angry faces yet, so I think we're okay. So, from our child's pose, we're going to come around, take the legs out in front, give them a nice shake. Okay? We're going to do a nice one now, I promise. All right, I promise. I'm going to show what it looks like on the wall because it's kind of hard to see sometimes when laying down. So, we're going to come onto our side. So, if we pretend that I'm on my side and my arms are stacked, okay? So my fingertips are touching, and what we're going to do is open all the way back, and notice that my hand doesn't go to the wall, which means the hand might not go to the floor. What we don't want to do is lift the top leg or open the hips, okay? We want to keep the hips where they are, so the arm may only go back to here, all right? So let's give it a try. Coming onto our side, we're going to have our knees bent, okay? Bring the knees slightly forward, so they're not in line with the hips, they're a little bit forward. That'll help with balance. Make sure the hips are stacked, so the knees are nice and even. The top knee is not behind the bottom knee. Stack the hand, so the fingertips match, all right? So, and I should say, if we want a block or something under the heads, we can go ahead and place it there. We're gonna lift the top arm. We're gonna rotate from the ribs. We're gonna watch that thumb, and just take the hand back as far as it will go, okay? And then we're gonna breathe out and come all the way back. I'm just gonna scooch forward so I don't touch the wall, okay? So let's go again. Open, try and follow that thumb all the way back. Keep these knees together. It doesn't really matter how close to the floor the hand comes. It might touch, it might not. And then we're gonna open back up. And close that door. This is quite nice to do. If we have been sitting for a long time, maybe working on the computer, if we've been working from home, or just sitting on the couch reading, playing on laptop or tablets, this is a really good one because it opens up the muscles in the front, so the chest muscles in the front of the shoulder. It can also be done with a very light weight, so like half a kilogram at the most. Or maybe like a bottle of water or a can of food, anything like that. Good. Let's do one more. This is one of my favorite exercises. There's a different way to do it as well where we get to draw a circle. Maybe we'll try that one another week. Good. Right, once we've closed, we're going to go ahead and shift that bottom arm under the head and make sure that the knees are still stacked one on top of the other. It is time to clam. Yay! We've not clammed in a while. Slightly different clam. To start with, we're going to lift this leg, okay? So we're going to lift the foot, we're going to lift the leg straight up and down. Yeah, nice and easy. Nothing too awful. It's just like if we have the leg straight. The only difference is it's bent. Yes. The top hip stays stacked. We engage between the hip bones. Don't really need the top hand, but if we want to place it in front, just onto the fingertips we go. Now, let's hold it up. Let's take the feet together, and then the knees together, and then the feet together, and then the knees together. Okay? So it's a slightly different clam because we're going one way and then the other. So we're internally rotating the hip and externally rotating the hip. So moving the top of that sort of leg bone in the hip one way and then the other. It should feel amazing on that booty. Now, let's add on. The next time that the knees are together, we're going to extend that foot behind us. So we're reaching for the wall behind us. Bring the knees back together and toes. So if I just turn and face this way, and feel free to stop and sort of have a look to see what's happening. So we go knees together, and notice the leg goes diagonally behind. Knees together, toes together, knees together. Extend, knees together, toes together, knees, squeeze the booty and extend, knees together. Good. Anyone else feel it yet? I really hope so. Good, let's do two more. Knees, extend, knees together, toes, last one, knees, squeeze the booty, take it back. Knees together, toes together, and release. Oh, that was much more awful than I thought it was going to be. Give it a little rest. So, let the knee come in front on the floor, or pull it into the shoulder. Good. Oh, okay, when we are ready, we can either roll over and face the back, so that the other knee and shoulder is on top, or we can switch our head around if we want to be able to see the camera. Okay, so knees are bent. Okay, pull them forward. Okay, hips in line with knees. All right, so make sure you got a nice long line from hips to shoulders. Bottom arm in line with the shoulder. Head on a block if we want it. Fingertips together. All right, knees nice and even. Now imagine, and this sounds really bad, there's a big nail and it goes down through the top knee into the bottom knee. So that top knee and the bottom knee can't lift. All right, this should all be the upper body. So breathe in and open. Watch that thumb. Watch that thumb. Oh, there's a wall in my way. And back we come. All right, so open. Watch the thumb. Looking back towards that thumb as long as we can. And then close that door. And what we will probably notice is that one arm will go back a bit further than the other, which is normal. Yeah. A lot of times one side will be tighter than the other, depending on what hand we write with and what we do with the arms. But this is a really good, nice, gentle stretch. And it also helps with spinal mobility, because we are rotating the spine, as well as shoulder mobility. So this is a great one to do. Good. The next time we close our door, we'll stop and change that bottom arm. So the head is still in line with the spine, but just resting on the arm. If we want to keep it on the block, the arm just stays here. It's fine. All right. Up and down we go. So lift the top leg. So with this one, our knee and ankle are in the same sort of line. Okay, so the knee's not higher than the foot and the foot's not higher than the knee. We're just lifting up and down. For this, the foot can be flexed, pointed, relaxed. Doesn't matter, because we're just going to focus on the lift and the lower, warming up that outer hip. Make sure those hips are still nice and stacked. And let's move on to our clam. So keep that leg lifted. We're going to go knees together, feet together. Knees and feet. So internal, external rotation. So again, really good for hip mobility, this one, as well as strengthening those outer glute muscles. Good. I think we should add on the extension. So take the feet together, the knees together, and press that foot to the corner behind. Squeeze the booty, squeeze the booty. Don't let the lower back move. Keep tucking that tailbone forward. Knees together, feet together. Make sure to engage between those hip bones to help keep that lower back nice and long, especially when that leg goes behind. And breathe. No holding the breath. Really shouldn't have gone outside this morning. Well, I can't breathe now. Ooh. Da, 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 da. All right, let's make this the last one. And toes together and release. Oh. Keep it a little breath. Take it in front to the floor. Oh. All right. From here, we're going to roll onto our back. I just like to face this way, so I'm going to turn around. We're going to pull the knees into the chest. Take a little rock from side to side. Let the feet come onto the floor. All right. So really quickly, engage between the hips and press that lower back down towards the mat. Okay. Make sure that those fingers can't touch behind that lower back. We are going to scoop some ice cream or some sand if we want to pretend like we're at the beach, because after all, it's bank holiday. So what's going to happen is we're going to lift up the right leg. We are going to scoop it down, take it up about to 45, and then put it back down again. And then we're going to scoop with the left leg. So we're going to scoop down and up, 45, and release the foot to the mat. Okay? So scoop, up, and down. All right, making sure that the lower back's not moving, and that when we breathe out, the belly's not expanding. Okay, the belly should not move because those muscles are staying contracted. Now, if we want to make the scoop a little bit bigger, we're going to start with those knees over the hips, so in our 100 position. Okay. Now make sure the knees are not too far in. They're just over the hip bones. We scoop down, out to 45, and knee over the hip. Other one, scoop, and down. So think about what it is that's being scooped, because it makes it hurt less if we imagine our toes are kind of going through some nice warm sand on the beach, or maybe through a big thing of ice cream. I don't really know what else there is to scoop. Those are the two things that come to mind. I mean, I guess, no, I can't think of anything. If anyone else thinks of anything that we can scoop, then put it in the comments, at the end of the class. And I'll save it for next time. Good. So to make it a little bit more exciting, we're going to lift the upper body and press the hands flat onto the mat, okay? Whether the feet are down or up, we're going to all try this. Now, really press the hands into the floor to activate these abdominals more. We're going to do 4 more like this. 4. And lift. It should feel different. It should feel a lot harder. 2 more. 2. Last one. 1. And hold those knees into the chest. Yeah? All right. Feet down. Let's bridge. Palms facing up. All right? So, feet are hip distance apart, as close as we can comfortably take the feet to being directly under the knees. So if they need to be a little bit further forward, absolutely fine. Make sure the knees are happy. So let's bridge, peeling that spine away. We're going to hold at the top. Now, either lift one heel or lift both heels up here. Don't let the hips drop. Keep pushing up, 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 up. Heels down and bridge down. Okay? So let's go again. Breathe out, bridge. And if we did one heel, do the other heel this time. Or we can do both. Heels down, bridge down. Good. Let's keep it going. So we're going to tuck. We're going to lift vertebra by vertebra. As we breathe in, we lift however many heels we want. And then we take the heels down and we release. Good. Let's go again. Roll it up. Heels or heel and down. Good. Now, if we want to, for balance, we can take the feet and knees a bit closer because we are going to go to one-legged bridge. All right, so pick up the left leg. All right, straight if we can, bent if we prefer. We're going to bridge up. Same thing. Lift the heel. Put the heel down and roll it down. Switch the legs. Here we go. Squeeze that booty really hard. Lift, keep the heel down to lift. So really press into the heel to lift. And then lift the heel. Take the heel down. Press into that heel. Activate the hamstring. Release. So the more we can press into that heel as we lift and lower, the more work we feel in the hamstring. Then when we lift the heel, we're going to feel it going into the calves. So we work the whole back of the leg up into those glutes. So lots going on here. Let's do, we'll do a few more. So lift the heel. And of course, if we don't want to lift the heel, we don't have to. We don't even have to do a one-legged bridge. We can stay with the first option. We're going to do one more each leg. So left leg up. And the last one we should do will be with the right leg lifted. And down. Good. So just take the legs up into the air for a moment and flex the feet just to release those calves. Now, from there, bring the knees in to release the glutes. Maybe take a little rock from side to side. All right. We are going to do one more exercise. All right, so feet down. Engage those abdominals. Relax those shoulders. All right. Legs in the air. Okay. We're going to do another sort of scoopy motion, but out to the side. So, actually, if I turn this way, we might be able to see better. So we're going to take one leg down towards the floor, making sure the lower back doesn't move. Out to the side, so we make like a letter J, and then back up. And then down, out to the side, and back up. So we're making two letter J's, one forwards and one backwards. Okay, so one will be the normal way that we would make a letter J, and one will do the opposite way. All right, so let's go. Down, scoopy out, and back up. Now if this is too much and we can't keep the lower back down, put the feet on the floor and just do it with one leg at a time. Scoopy out, scoopy up, down, and switch. Scoopy out and scoopy up. Yeah? And down. And of course, if the legs won't go straight because the hamstrings are a bit tight, just bend those knees a little bit. All right? Especially if we've done the other classes this morning, you might be feeling a bit in the hamstrings. You know, if we've done body attack and core works and whatever else was going on this morning. Good. And after we've done another right and left leg, we will release. And I think I might have lied because I think we have time to do another exercise. Oh yes, plenty of time. So let those feet come down. Okay, so we are going to be a star or a starfish if we prefer to be a starfish. We're going to start with the feet on the floor. And we're going to start with our arms in a Y shape. All right, so laying down on the floor, we want to look like this. Not here, out to the corners. Okay? Now, we are going to knock over our water, and then we're going to lift our right arm and our left leg, and we're going to reach for the outside of that left ankle. And then we're going to bring it back down. And then we're going to do left arm and right leg to the outside of the ankle. Now, if that is a bit much for the head and neck, we can put the bottom arm under the head as we lift, and we can be here, okay? So really press that lower back down. We're going to reach across so we work the obliques, okay? So we don't look quite like a starfish yet. If we want to look more like a starfish, open the legs out to the corners of the mat as well. So that we look like this, laying down, all right? From here, we're going to do the same thing. Lift the right arm and the left leg, touch the outside of the ankle, and back down. Knock over the sign, and come back down. Just knocking everything over today. Luckily the sign is a little bit heavier than my water bottle. Good. And remember, the bottom hand can come behind the head if we need to support that head a bit. And now, we should feel a little bit more like a starfish. Good. All right. The next time that we lift the right arm, that's going to be 4, and we're going to do 4 more. So, 4, release. Big breath out to lift. 3, release. 2 to go. 2, last one. 1, and just relax in that star shape. Relax the arms, bring the feet in, and just to release the neck, turn the head from side to side. So just release that head and neck. All right, we are going to roll back onto our side to stretch our quad because we work them quite hard. So we can either be up on our forearm or we can be down. Okay, don't mind. We can even be here. It's not the nicest position, but as we're not going to be here very long, it should be fine. So we're going to bend our top knee, reach back and grab toes, hopefully more the foot and the ankle if possible. We are going to pull that knee behind us, and we're going to squeeze our booty and push our hips forward, just as if we were going to do the stretch standing, okay? Don't let the knee go too high. It should be in line with the hip, okay? So that we get that nice stretch in the front of the thigh. This is just mainly because I don't want to come up to standing. All right, so from here, release that top leg. Pull this bottom knee forward. All right. Take this top foot, flex it, and put it on the floor. All right. With me so far. Now, push that knee away. And we should get a stretch in the glutes. Okay. If not, you can pull that bottom leg forward even more. Okay. It's essentially the same as this stretch. We're just doing it on our side because we're already there. So why not? And release, and either face the back of the room, so face away from the camera if you prefer, if it's easier. We're going to do our quad stretch. So bottom leg can be bent or straight, doesn't matter, but usually for balance it's easier to bend it. Leg in line with hip, pull it in, grab the foot, the sock, the leggings, whatever we can. Good. Bring that knee in line with the hip and then pull that knee back. Okay, so that we don't arch the lower back. Push the hips forward. Good. Now release. Pull this bottom knee forward as far as is comfortable. Flex that foot so we can put it on the floor. And then push that knee away. I feel it much more on this side than the other side. If this foot lifts off the floor, that's fine. It doesn't need to stay flat. And we'll slowly release. And we'll come up and have a seat to stretch out those hamstrings. So, legs nice and long. Again, if we want to grab something to place underneath those hips, we can. We're going to flex our feet. Think about pressing the backs of the knees into the mat. Okay. Some of us might even be able to get the heels to lift. Okay. But if not, don't force the knees. All right. Be kind to the knees. We're going to sit tall and we're going to stretch forward, okay? Now we should feel a stretch in the hamstring. If we want to round the spine and look more towards the legs, we're going to get a stretch in the back as well. Or if we prefer to just have it mostly in the hamstrings, we'll press the belly to the thighs and extend the spine looking forward, okay? So either stretch is fine. We're going to get the stretch in the back of the legs. It's just if we look down, we'll get a little bit of stretch in the back as well. Okay, so you can pick whichever one is preferable today. Good. And then we're going to shake those legs out. Shake, shake, shake. And we're going to have a nice, comfortable seat. Now, the cat that's not my cat that comes inside my house to take naps is staring at me, wondering why the door's not open. So... we're going to relax the shoulders. Apparently I attract black cats. What can I say? We're going to breathe in and lift. If there's a black cat within a mile, it's going to come to my house. And we're going to release. Breathe in. And release. One more time. Big breath in. Take one hand behind the other. Sit nice and tall. And just before we finish, take one arm down, find that nice side stretch we did in the beginning, but this time really reach those fingertips away. Palm facing up. Good. Come up. Big stretch in the center. Reach up. Take it the other way. Keep the palm facing up if we can. And up and release and shake it all out. Woo! So, thank you for joining me today at this slightly earlier time.